Hello, and welcome to Tour of the Chakras. My name is Angelique Bouffiou, and I will be leading and guiding you throughout the process of this course. So, without further ado, I'll be opening the PowerPoint, which I use in every single one of these videos to discuss the various aspects of the course. And I'm just really excited for you to join in on this. I know that this practice and the practices and tools that are within this course have helped a lot of people to become healthier and more aligned with their own conscience and their own power, the power to heal yourself, which is my primary purpose in life, to show people how powerful they are, where that power is, and how to access it, which is a continual process in all of our affairs. So welcome, and let me open up our slide share. Okay, so the question that I like to begin with is, what are you made of? And of course, that has two distinct meanings as a question. There's what are you made of? And there's the literal side of that, which is what are you made of? The background image that I chose here is the Tree of Life, which is a foundational philosophy and also a key to our understanding our own existence that I will refer to many times throughout the length of this course. However, in this class, it's our goal to look at that, to look at both the science aspect of what we're made of and how to navigate, how to find out how much power we have based on what we are made of and what the potential is. Most of us, many people walking around nowadays think of themselves as this physical vessel, right? This is the part that you can see, so this is the part that we believe in, and yet we are made of so much more. So let's first do a heart connector exercise. I think that this is an important exercise anytime you're taking a class, whether that class is a metaphysical class or an energy class, a meditation class, but also a history class, a math class, any class that you take, because the more access that you have to your heart is the more that the mind opens. There are so many people who think to themselves, I can't. And as soon as they do that, they trigger an aspect of the mind that shuts down potential, right? Because in the defensive aspect of the brain, in the idea of I can't, we trigger that defensive aspect of the brain where no synaptic connection for memory or learning happen. So as soon as we think I can, which is always the vibration of the heart, we start to open our minds and learn at a rate that is far different and much improved if the goal is to truly learn. So, which it is. So first we're going to take our hands and we're just going to rub them together. We're going to warm up our hands just by moving energy. Right? Friction. Right? And as you can see, the first line here is wake up the nadis. So the nadis are extension lines in the energetic, in the subtle body, the aspect of the subtle body that is within the physical body. And so those nadis, you can think of them like electric lines that run through all of the appendages, and that the edges of which are in the appendages. So the fingers and hands, and in the feet and the toes. So the nadis that we're warming up are the fingertips. So I'm just going to move those little babies along. 3 claps. All right. And bring the palms still with a little bit of space between them, a little bit of energy. They're not, the physical aspect is not touching the physical aspect, but the energy body is touching the energy body, right? So as we're touching, just feeling that flow of energy moving. This is to connect without direct touch. And now we're going to bring these palms, first the left palm, over the center heart, right? So the center heart is beep right here. As you can see, now it's going to be a little bit different on every person, not the location, but because of the lengths of torso, it can be a little bit different. But what I want you to be mindful of, we don't want to be under the collarbone right there, up high. No, because that's really a different chakra point. So for some of us, the high heart, where the thymus is encased within the physical body, is underneath the sternum. And for some of us, that sternum sort of protrudes a little bit at that point. So we want to keep marching down another about an inch, 2 inches, until, depending on your age, you're right in between the breast line. And for me, that area of the sternum, I can feel where the sternum, where the rib cage meets, right? But that's not true for everybody. Some people will feel like a flat bone sternum. So with your left fingertips, the nadis awakened, I want you to imagine your fingertips lighting up like E.T. And they're just connecting in there to the central heart chakra, which overlaps the organ of the heart. And we're going to say 3 times, and I'm going to explain it before we say it, but we're going to say, I can feel my heart and it feels good. And what I mean by that, it doesn't mean it only feels what I think is good in my limited mind and experience. It means everything my heart feels is good. So sadness, happiness, joy, anger, all of these feelings, all of the feelings are good. So we're just going to say 3 times connected here. I can feel my heartbeat and it feels good. Remove any question marks from your tone. Say it like a statement. I can feel my heartbeat and it feels good. I can feel my heartbeat and it feels good. Then we're going to take that left palm, the central chakra here, right? It's a subchakra of the palm, which is right in the center. And we're going to imagine that lighting up. We're going to connect that right to the central heart. And it doesn't need to be pressing firmly. You don't want to be tensing the arm or anything. Just let your shoulder hang like it's made to do. And bringing that palm right over the center. I can feel my heartbeat and it feels good. I can feel my heartbeat and it feels good. I can feel my heartbeat and it feels good. So, whew, and it does feel good. So, as you know, the more you practice this, is the more aware you'll become of your own system. But I would recommend this. And then anytime you feel yourself getting up into your head, or taking this class or any other class or any other experience, just see if you can take an elevator. Imagine yourself, if visuals work for you. Imagine your little mini me, the one that scrambles like a squirrel, right? And just jumping in an elevator and just dropping right down to the center line. It's a practice. Remember, it's not about how many times or that you have to do it because you notice, oh my gosh, I'm up in my head again. It's just the practice of coming down, right? Longest journey ever from the head to the heart. And the fact that you're on that journey is a really big deal. It's a level of consciousness that is priceless and that has a positive influence for everyone around you, even if you keep it as a secret, right? Because the more you work on your own human experience, your own human perception, your own human body, is the more that we heal our souls. And also just by influence of presence is the more that we plant little seeds like beautiful dandelions walking around in the world. All right, so let's get going here. Okay, so there's an image of me from back when I had a bun. But also this is a photo from a day with a friend of mine who also is a student, and theory at the time that if I called on certain light to work with or used certain mantras, that it could be visible, so long as the person taking the photo was also connecting to their third eye, right? So I just wanted to play with that. So we went out to a park in southern New Jersey, and I did these different mantras, and they got a variety of different pictures with a variety of different light. But as you can see, there's some rainbow light that showed up, and some other images with that light, which if your third eye is popped, you can see is quite glorious. But and this is to show that, you know, light work is real. I think so many people are limited by the idea of what we see we can believe, and everything that is unseen is imagination, or but this is not true, right? So it does take an imagination to activating our third eye, but not one that makes things up in the sense that image, right? So to become open to images. And so there that is. My name is Angelique Bouffiou, and these letters mean Reiki Master Practitioner and Teacher. I do hold 55 certifications, which I which I'm proud of, and which I pass on to people when requested. But I'm also a shaman. I received the 9 rites of the Munaki in 2012, and then from a man who had received them while in Peru. And then I received the 13th rite. There is no 10, 11, and 12 so far of the rites of the Munaki, but the 13th rite, which is the healing of the womb. And 13 is associated with the goddess, but not, I won't sidetrack here. But so those are the things that I do. I also do past life regression and astrology. So I'm a really mixed bag, and yet all of those pursuits of mine and all of these things that I study are for the primary purpose to help people realize their power, right? When I feel true success is when I'm able to pass on tools to people where they can actualize their own liberation. So I don't take it on myself to free people, because that's arrogant and not of interest to me, because then you would have to find me every time you wanted to get free, but instead to show people how to get there. So what are you made of? Well, 7 octillion atoms. So that's a lot, right? So look at all these zeros, 7 octillion atoms, which is approximately, every atom is 99.9% space, right? As to what is observable, well, by the human eye, an atom is not observable, but but scientifically it was believed that it was empty space that was surrounding this, right? Which is energy, right? Because all things, all life is based on the atom, right? So all things that exist have atoms moving through them. And what we can see of them, right? So flip that. What we can see is 0.01% of what exists. Right? So think about that. So here are some images of an atom, and this is what an electron, the visible aspect of matter, from under a very specific microscope, right? And so you can see that there is a vibration even to matter. So even the things that we perceive are solid are not so solid. Even glass, right? Glass is the least solid of solids. And yet it is said that there is motion, there is what moves through it. And you know that if you stand near a window in the summertime, even a good window, you can feel the air, right? From the outside. So anyway, so think about this, right? Like you are composed of atoms and so much more, right? So these atoms, what are they made of, right? So this is our creative foundation. Now, you contain the potential of 7 octillion times the space or energy or frequency of the matter that you are. So, I don't think it would be helpful for anyone to be perfectly conscious, and this could be my own limitation, but I don't think that it would be helpful for me to be 100% aware of all that is within me, right? Within this 7 octillion times the space, energy, frequency of the matter that I am. So there's a lot that is within the unknown. However, even to explore and begin to discover some of your potential beyond your ideas, beyond personality, is to start to really discover the keys of what is possible, right? Of how much your own life, your experience within your physical body and without your physical body, which is not to say you leave your physical body at home and you go out. It's to say outside of, right? Because all of these atoms and all of this energy and frequency is constantly interacting with the world as I walk through it, right? It's meeting up with other units of mass amounts of almost like miniature universes, right? Are passing by each other in each person, right? And in each experience, think of the amount of energy and frequency that it takes to merge and to meet. So there's so much. Now, I mentioned earlier, the tree of life is a very important symbol and also a tool. So if you've ever read or heard of the Emerald Tablets, which is a very simple text, but it's layered, it has keys and tools within it. And so this text was passed down to kings and to great leaders for thousands of years. And it is said that Hermes wrote it, and it's also said that Thoth wrote it. And so, that's a debate for another day. However, these keys that have been passed through the centuries for all the wisest and most powerful people to sit with and to realize, right, is the primary statement of the Emerald Tablets is, as above, so below. as in the heavens, right? The skies, the stars, so in our personal lives, right? So the basis really of astrology, Hermetic astrology, and also evolutionary astrology. But also think of it on a smaller scale. As above, my crown, my connection to my higher power. So below, so my root, so my ability to connect in this moment, to be present, to allow bliss, to allow all my experience within and without to just move through, right? And to be present in it. As within, as I am, as the frequency of what I am creating in here, so without, so is my experience. Experience will reflect back to me over and over again where I'm at, right? Where I allow myself and where I disallow myself, right? So there's so much to this one phrase. And it really is, it is the key to the development of your own personal relationship within the framework of the chakras, right? And the more you get to know the chakras, your own personal experience with them. And if you're an energy worker, a Reiki practitioner, a massage therapist, anyone who has to do, or a nurse, anyone who has to do with the healing processes of other people, the more that you understand your own system is the more that you'll be able to help and identify other people's systems and what may be off balance, right? And so it's not about just identify, the true nature of healing is to identify the actual cause of ailment or dis-ease. And so the cause, identifying the cause, in order to do that, we have to let go of blame and fault finding, or what's wrong with me, somebody fix me, because all of those types of questions, not only do garbage questions create garbage answers, and the mind will reflect back. You ask a garbage question to your brain, it's a computer, it's going to give you back a garbage answer. And why it's garbage is because to refer to yourself as broken or a destructive machine, right? What's wrong with me? Like, this is not an accurate way to self-survey. So it's really about getting to, where is there imbalance in me, within my system? Where am I blocking the flow? And what is the true cause, the true nature of this experience that I am having, right? So it's less blamey, it's more heart-centered, right? So even when you're asking yourself these questions, or when you're thinking about it, or as we're going over information throughout the course for each of the chakras and the associations of, there are characteristics to imbalance, right? And how they associate to each of the chakras. And as you learn them, sometimes we get a little like, oh, I got that going on, a little bit of this, and so it's not about getting overwhelmed, right? It's about, oh, so there's a key to this, right? There's a key. And the more that I become aware of the problem, the roots of the problem, is the closer I am to discovering my solutions and to activate a real palpable solution, one that I can continue to go back to. All right, let's keep moving. So as within, so without, here are some other images of, so universe mass composition. So here are some NASA figures, right? So within an atom, we have heavy elements, right, which come from the Earth, 0.03%. And then we have neutrinos, 3%. However, in every atom, right, hydrogen atom, they're made of 0.5. That's a large percentage. That's half of this composition is so far, right, as we go along. is made of stars, right? So it's half of 1% are made of stars. Then we have free hydrogen and helium. That's 4%, right? Dark matter and dark energy, right? So we don't, any association that you have with the word dark as being bad, this is a very Western mind focus that really feeds into a lot of sickness within our culture at large. But this idea that what is in the dark, that we need to be scared of it, is it's just erroneous, right? So dark simply means without light, and the majority of the universe is in darkness. That's how we can see stars at night, you know, if we don't live in too congested a city. We must have the dark, and the dark must be in the majority in order to have the light. So this dark aspect is the mystery. You could call it the divine mystery. I do. Sometimes it doesn't always feel that divine, but so this is the space that we will be exploring, right? And we will be activating the light to illuminate our way throughout this course. Okay. So, as within, biology tells us that we are 70% or more water. The chemical composition of that water is an exact match to the ocean. Additionally, when we are babies and we are inside of our mothers, we are in a uterus, and that uterus has the symbol imprinted on it, which is tree of life. Right? So the tree of life is imprinted on us in our experience for this is the paradigm through which we truly live when we are living a conscious life. Right? We become aware of how powerful we are, that things are never happening to me. And my golly, does it feel like it sometimes? So, you know, we all go through that. We all go through periods of time where it's like, oh, the world, right? Or this situation. But the truth, the capital T truth, is that all things are happening as a reflection. And this doesn't mean if somebody comes up to you and is a jerk to you, that it's your fault. That is not what that means. That is small-minded thinking. So what it means is that the world is revealing to me how I am within myself. I am echoing out in the world, right? So, and the world is, and the universe is echoing back. So, sometimes that person that shows up that's a jerk being something that you just don't let yourself be. Like it's just not okay in your book. So the whole you spot it, you got it thing, sometimes it's you spot it and you don't got it. You don't allow it. And so through a little bit of contemplation, a little perhaps some writing and some meditation and some clarity, and then change, real change, making choices to not add all of that, not become whatever you experience, but to give yourself permission to be a little bit, to have boundaries, right? Real boundaries, you know, which has been a work of my lifetime. So I get it. And then in some people, they're showing you how you are, you know, and that it's not as cute as you were thinking it was. And then you see somebody else doing it and you're like, oh no, that's not cool. So it's not about, you know, judging. It's about lead back from these fingers and see, you know, oh, I don't want to bring that into the world, right? Not even in my most hurt moments do I want to offer that. And then the opportunity to change. As we change our boundaries, our understanding of self, how we identify with ourselves, with this universe and in the world of people, our experience changes. Right? Different people show up, a different universe, you could say, multiple dimensions within this physical reality, right? So Okay, so the nature of the ocean is underexplored, much like the nature of our internal world. Think about how much there is that is unknown to you, right? And so the ocean, the aspect of the ocean, the chakra that most connects to that is the heart. So I ask for you to center in your heart every time you enter into this exploration, because that is what is going to help you to receive the most of this course, this experience, and your own life, your own relationship with self. So let's get into the 7 primary chakras. So I'm actually starting with the bottom, as below. We begin with the root chakra, right? And next class, we will be getting into the root chakra and the crystals, the colors, the visualization necessary to work with them. And each week we'll be getting into, or however you're timing this for yourself, each class will be getting into each of these chakras and what the symptoms of imbalance are, and then some techniques and tools for you to help yourself come back into balance, and perhaps, depending on your work, to bring that into your understanding with other clients, right? To the areas where dis-ease is occurring and what the true cause is, or helping them to reach what the true cause is, the true nature of disease. So we've got the root, the sacral with the lower dantian, right? So, which means they overlap the same way that the heart, the actual heart, overlaps with the heart, the central heart chakra. There is an overlap of these 2 energy points, the sacral and dantian, lower dantian, but we'll get into it when we get into it, yeah? Then the solar plexus, will center, which is right beneath the rib cage, where the rib cage begins to part. It's right there. Central heart chakra, throat. Each of these have 2 sides to them, right? So apparently I needed a little clearing. And the third eye. Boop. Now the only 2 chakras that don't have 2-sided kind of trumpet-looking chakra points that come out of them are the crown and the root. As above, so below, right? So that trumpet of the root comes down. If we can imagine, this is the end of the body, and here are the legs. And so it comes down like a trumpet. I have some illustrations that we'll look at when we are working on each of these that will help you to get a sense, a visual sense. Then we have, so within the crown, 3 layers of the crown. One that is closest at the etheric template, one that is a little above that, and one that is a little above that, okay? And so this 3 layers, well, all of these chakras are open to some extent, or you would have no brain function if there was no activity or running energy. But when people are talking about opening a chakra, they're talking about really activating its power. And so there are 3 aspects of consciousness that need to be awakened in order for the crown chakra to be what is considered open. For each of these, the stronger that you make the roots is the more power and access to power that earth power, Gaia power, universal power, spirit power, creator power, higher self power, wherever you are deriving power from, right? And we mean this in the capital P sense, that more power has the ability to move through the trunk, if your torso is the trunk, and the branches, right? So from the heart up through the throat, third eye, crown. Now there are other chakras above and below, but we're not going to be, the primary focus of this course is the 7 primary chakras. Okay, So we have the subtle bodies, which affix to the chakras, right? So each chakra has a subtle body. So if you can imagine your physical body, right? Like an outline on a piece of paper. And so, let's see, my drawings aren't typically that, but we'll see. Okay, so, if we have, okay, if we have the outline of a physical body, child is like over the moon right now with this drawing. Okay, so, or you're like the Stay Puft mushroom, marshmallow man. Anyway, okay, so if we have this first physical energetic body, right? We've got the etheric template, which is connected to the root chakra, which, depending on gender, comes out it's a little higher on women because we have so much internal aspect to the root, and on men it's a little lower because their sex organs are externalized. Okay, so then the next energy body is connected to the sacral chakra, and that comes out around that. So just keep imagining these bodies, these energetic borders, yet they all connect, right? Because they're not solid. They're not in a solid state. They are fluid. Okay, and that is connected to the sacral chakra. And then we have the solar plexus, and on and on and on, right? So keep imagining these energetic bodies. This is what creates the human energy field, which in the 70s, 60s, I believe, maybe even in the 50s, it was referred to as the aura, but that has kind of some like hokey connotation to it. The correlating term in science, in physics, is the human energy field, which is a testable, measurable, existent, energetic, electromagnetic vibration frequency that surrounds the human body. So this is a very, very real, proven, testable thing. And so each, for most of us, unless we're outdoors, this energy field sometimes is going to come in really close, dependent, if you're in a tight elevator, human energy field actually pulls in as you do. But for most of us, it's going to sit out at about 3 feet, anywhere from 1.5 feet to like 3 feet around your physical body, right? So, and this is what creates our understanding of personal space, right? So when somebody stands too close, they're like in our field. It's like they're standing in our body. It can be very uncomfortable, more so in the West than perhaps in the East. But anyway, so I think I don't need to continue with this drawing. You get the point that each of these bodies, there are 7 of them that echo out above the physical body, creating the human energy field. Now we can also expand this human energy field. And there are times where you might want to, and there are times when maybe you should not. So, but we'll get into all that stuff. So, and each one of these bodies correlates to each one of the chakras, the primary chakras. And we'll talk about the chakras and the chakras and the subtle bodies as we move through this course. So what I have set up for you for the opening meditation. Here's how they correlate. The as above, crown to root. So these 2 chakras correlate, as mentioned before. third eye to sacral. So if I'm having an issue with the sacral, with the third eye, it may be, I might want to also look at what's going on with the sacral, right? And vice versa. If I'm having an issue with the sacral, perhaps I'm receiving an intuition that I'm not acting on, which is debilitating my power. Throat to solar plexus, clear communication of who I am in the world and my will. And of course, at the center of that is the heart when we're just looking at the 7 chakras. When we're looking at the fully extended chakra points, the balancing point to the heart chakra is the soul star, which I'm probably going to get into the more to the full chakra system in a separate class. But okay, so here is the posture that we want to engage for this meditation. So I realize now that I don't want these videos to get too light and gigabyte wise. So I am going to end the first video. And in the second video, we will be going over posture, meditation, and the breath technique for the intro meditations for you to do this week in preparation, or this month, or however you're taking it, in preparation for the tour of the chakras. All right. See you in video 2. Go within or go without.